season ended on a really great note. I was actually very excited about the way the show ended. So for the new season, first season is really about setting stuff up. Second season, what's the main kind of give us a clue?
Well, you know how it ended.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd soon blown the whistle, and then they pulled me off the podium, and Dr. Rosen goes to prison for about 6 to 8 months. The team is scattered. Red Flag and Stanton Parish starts to grow up a little more and start to evolve a little more. And so that's where we begin the second season. Is we sort of lost our way a little bit. Nathan Clay is still involved, the DOD. Ollie's still involved, and it starts to get a lot deeper and more complex. Characters, their personal lives become a lot more complex, and a lot of interesting stuff happens with Nina's character. She goes to a real dark place. Gary moves into the offices. You know, he has a split with his mom. It's kind of interesting. So there's a lot of really potent personal stuff that happens. But at the same time, Parrish and the adversarial alpha world starts getting a lot bigger.
So would you say the show's getting darker next season?
Well, in places, not overall as dark, but things become a little more critical. Situations just get amped up in all ways. You know, there's still wonderful moments of lightness and sort of human idiosyncrasy going on. It does just gets much more fuller, much richer.
Do you think that it will bring all of these events that are coming up? Do you think it's going to cause more? Can you tease about whether it's going to cause more problems in the long run, or do you think the team's going to get closer together, character-wise?
Character-wise, the things that happen to all of us will eventually make us much closer. But they're, it's not all just happy family. It's complicated and kind of real family stuff when you think about it, if you want to put it in family terms. But and then we're becoming much more challenged by the growing concerns over. We don't necessarily call them red flag anymore. It's more Parrish's people, Parrish's world. It's creeping in. Yeah.
I loved you in Harrison's Flowers, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Great movie. So what is the transition from going to movies and then doing a weekly show like this? Is it grueling? Is it easier, or do you think it's more fun or challenging?
Big difference. Since you're doing a 42-minute show every 6 or 7 days, for all the way from the writer's room to going to camera, you feel like you're on a kind of like a giant slalom going downhill, sometimes in the fog. And we're making all the gates, but it's very challenging in order to do that much material that fast continually. With a film, the script is sort of locked down. You know where it begins, you know where it ends. There's an inherent arc to it. With this, it's kind of open-ended.
Yeah.
As far as the nuts and bolts, like hours, pretty much the same. But yeah, it's hard work. It's just challenging, and because of the group, it's really fun. I mean, it is. It's a great group of people. Everybody's working really hard, and we all like each other, so that makes it fun. And if the show is successful, that's a big dividend.
It's already in season 2, and it looks like it's going to be picked up for season 3. So
I hope so.
And you have some amazing writers that just came over from Eureka. So.
Yeah.
Quick question. In season 1, there was a lot of question, I guess, about whether or not the team could trust you because you put another alpha in the asylum or what.
Right. Yeah, Binghamton.
Yeah, thank you.
Building 7. Yeah.
Right. So is that kind of resolved? I mean, they really addressed that issue in the finale a little bit, but does that still become an issue in season 2? Or?
It is still an issue. I mean, because what kinds of means justify what ends? Is the kind of issue that's at hand. You know, how far are you going to go to accomplish what we need to do to bring down Parrish and, kind of rein in the dark side. So the exploration of that issue is really gets a lot of mileage in season 2.
Well, related to that, you're the leader of the Alphas, and if there's ever a time, do you feel like your character, and related to not being able to do things in a certain time, do you feel like your character's ever wanted to have special powers and feels like maybe a powerlessness because to change things?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, he has at his fingertips a number of incredible powers that he can use because of his team. I don't know. We haven't really discussed whether Rosen will have a power or if he's going to find a way to sort of download an ability. No, it's not really something that seems to be too much of a concern.